about to happen.
I wish I saw the weak comedy.
I was trying to come up with some dad jokes while I was waiting on you to come on, so did not happen. But welcome, Shawn, and how are you today?
Good. Thanks so much for having me in the community. I'm super excited to be here, Doug.
Yeah, I am glad to have you. I have been a member of your group for a long time, and I thoroughly enjoy your group. There's so many awesome people in the Christian entrepreneurs group that you run. So
yeah, well, I appreciate that.
So, Shawn, you have a training for us today. Is that right?
I do. And I think we have because I'm late, so it's my fault. We have 25 minutes, so I'm going to speed through this training. And if you have any questions, go ahead and just ask, and I will make sure to answer them. But I'm super excited for this because we're going to be talking about sales, money, profits, why most entrepreneurs fail, despite being experts in their craft. And so it's going to be pretty awesome. So, Doug, should I just dive in?
Yes, please do.
Okay,
I can actually turn it over to you too, I think. Oh, no, wrong way. Well, I guess we'll just have to do side by side. I thought I could turn it all the way over to you.
That's okay. So, all right. So let me just share a little bit about what I'm up to. So I am Shawn Q. I'm a high ticket sales coach, and we won't use that. Okay, so I'm a high ticket sales coach, and I'm super stoked for today because I get to help you land more clients, which is pretty awesome. I absolutely love it when we have people who are incredibly good at what they do. They just don't know how to deal with the money part. They don't have a hard handle on how to actually land the sale. And then being able to see the transformation that takes place is pretty awesome. And so I'm really stoked to be able to help you go out and land clients, make money, be really good at what you do, and get paid really well. Growing up, I had a really toxic relationship with money. I don't know about you, but I grew up in a pretty impoverished part of Southern California. You know how you see grand opening stores and all of this buzz in the economy? Typically, we saw store closing. Everything has to go. And what was really incredible about that was I grew up with stores that were boarded up. Not stores that were open and kind of bustling, which was pretty incredible. And so at that time, what happened was I made a decision, how can we make a difference here? How can we make a change here? I did a little bit of study on the city that I grew up in, and 60% of the residents in that area were on some type of government welfare. In other words, if the government stopped giving them money, they would go homeless. And what we also saw was there was massive spikes in crime, massive spikes in dropout rates for high school, massive spikes in mental health challenges and divorce, and in drug abuse and criminality, and in there was just so many challenges. And at the foundation of it all, poverty was a thing that caused a lot of it. And so I made a decision. I'm going to live my life trying to eradicate that. My mission is to eradicate poverty and maximize abundance, because once we solve the poverty issue, once we get people to a place where they know how to make money and they no longer have to struggle paycheck to paycheck, they are capable of living a life that they actually, absolutely deserve. I believe every single person on the face of this planet deserves to live a life of abundance, has access to that. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because growing up, I celebrated 10-cent raises with my mom. We didn't celebrate landing $10,000 clients, or we didn't even know those numbers existed. We just knew 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents if you were really great that year. And so I thought if you have money, money's evil. If you have too much money, then you've probably sold your soul. I remember thinking oh, the rich people, they are just they're so greedy. Why can't they give us it was insane. And so I had to, if I wanted to uncover how to solve the poverty issue, I had to figure out how to solve my own poverty issue, how to solve my relationship with money. And instead of being scared or afraid or insecure around money, or allow my anxiety or depression to rise anytime money would come up, I had to own money. And that's when I discovered that money is a great tool and a horrible master. It's a great resource for you to be able to go out and do what God is calling you to do, to go do what you have been born to do. And if you are trying to find joy and freedom and happiness from money, you're never going to have enough. And so I wanted to really begin to develop what I call a heck yes mindset, where I can live a life where I can say heck yes, absolutely, to everything that I deserve. And that's kind of where we came up with the heck yes methodology, where you were able to live a life of heck yes, where you can say yes to everything that you know you're called to. And so why do most entrepreneurs fail despite being really good at what they do? Well, the first reason is you just have a toxic relationship with money. I mean, when I bring up pricing, or when a client asks you, how much do you charge? Oh, can you do a discount? I'm curious what feelings come up for you. I actually want you to do an exercise. If you're watching this live, let us know. If you're watching the rerun, let us know. But I want you to say this out loud. On the count of 3, you're going to say, I charge $50,000. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I charge $50,000. Say it out loud. And
I charge $50,000. I'm gonna say that.
I love it. So good. What happens oftentimes is this feeling will come up. A couple of different feelings. One, you might feel like excited about it. Like, oh my gosh, I charged $50,000. Yeah, you feel empowered. Other times you're like, yeah, right. There's no way I could charge $50,000. And other feelings that come up are oftentimes, well, I'll never be able to do that. Or you feel insecurity, or maybe even imposter syndrome comes up. Anxiety gets risen. That feeling, it's not a bad feeling. It's just a signal of where you're at with your relationship to money. It's just an kind of like a sign of, okay, if you can't say those numbers confidently, then you're likely not going to make those numbers confidently. I tell a lot of our clients, like, if you can't confidently say your price, people will never confidently pay your price. And so you have to be able to confidently say those big numbers. So because I grew up, comfortable only to 10-cent raises, I had to get comfortable with bigger numbers. So I remember walking around the house saying to my wife at the time, we just gotten married, I charge $25,000. I charge $50,000. I charge $100,000. Babe, I charge $1 million. And it sounds insane. It kind of sounds silly, but I needed to get comfortable with that. So I want to encourage you, if you're not comfortable with those numbers, get comfortable. It's simply because maybe you didn't grow up hearing those numbers all the time. And so you want to make sure that you're comfortable with those numbers. The other thing is, the other reason why a lot of people don't know how to make money, even though they're really good at what they do, is they don't really have a solid grasp of the sales call or the sales conversation, or how do you get a client to say yes? And what oftentimes happens is this: I remember my very first sales call. I was like shaking in my leg, like my legs were buckling. I was like so nervous. And I remember saying, I was supposed to charge $200 a month because that's as much as I could ever imagine someone paying me. So I was going to say $200 a month. And I said $10 a month because I was so nervous. I gave an unnecessary discount. And this is what I was selling. I was selling 2 hours of coaching every single week, multiple times a week for 3 months. Also, I was on call. So if they wanted to call me at 12 at night, I would answer the phone. Like, I was giving so much because I was so insecure with what I was selling for $10 a month. The person on the other line chuckled, laughed, and said, oh, Shawn, we got to get that up. But okay, I'll do 3 months. Paid in full, $30 whole. And I discovered at that moment that barely pays for a quarter tank of gas in California. So I really needed to figure out, like, how was I going to be able to sell? And I had to discover, how was I going to be able to ask for money, be able to walk through the process, be able to still not control the conversation, but lead the conversation well. And that's where I discovered, like, I don't want to feel pushy. I mean, have you ever been in that place where you're like, you want to land clients, but you don't want to push them into the sale. You don't want to be sleazy. You don't want to, like, be that used car salesman. You want to be genuine. You want to be authentic. You want to have a process that aligns with you and your values. And then on top of that, you also want to make sure that you have something that you can have fun with. It's like not something you're trying to actively avoid. I remember being in conversations where it's like, okay, this is a great conversation, but I know the money's coming up. I know she's going to ask, how much is this going to cost? And I'm like so scared about it. And so I wanted a process that would make it really, really, really fun, really exciting, really, just a thing that I would really look forward to. Imagine what life would look like if you looked forward to the sales conversation. If you thought it was the funnest thing in the world, like nothing would be impossible. You'd actively go try to sell your stuff. And so we discovered, well, one way to do that is instead of rushing the sales process, slowing it down and just taking our time. And one of the things I discovered was I wanted to make sure that I didn't just have any client, but we took our time in discovering whether or not this was the right client. This was a dream client. Because here's the truth. Write this in the comments if you're watching live or on the rerun. Not all money is happy money. I can't tell you how many clients I took when I was first starting that I regretted immediately after. They had a terrible work ethic. They were incredibly rude, but I needed the money because I wanted to pay the bills. So I took on anyone and just, okay, I'll do whatever. But that wasn't me leading well. That wasn't me being a business leader. That was me simply saying, I'll do whatever you need. Yeah. So slow the conversation down. And I said, well, let's see if we're a good fit. Because here's the truth. When somebody says yes to you, you also get a chance to say yes to them. So whenever I'm in a conversation with a potential client, I'm asking, do I want to say yes to them? Right? Do I want to take them on as a client? I'm sure they're willing to give me money, but am I willing to give my time, energy, effort, skill set, expertise, like my creative energy to this individual? Am I inspired by their vision? Do they have a world-class work ethic that I can get behind? Are they more committed to their results than I'm committed to their results? Because if I'm committed way more than they are, it's going to be like dragging like just a ton of poundage. They have to be 100% more committed than I am. I'm committed to my client, but they're committed to their results, not me. And so you have to make sure that you are identifying who are the right people, not just anyone, but who are the right people so you can make happy money, money you're happy to receive, and money that's reflective of work you're happy to do. And then on top of that, you also want to make sure that you communicate that up front. You communicate boundaries. So right up front in the sales process, I'll let people know, hey, guess what? I don't answer my phone after 5 p.m. If it's an emergency, call the police, call the firefighter, call the ambulance, call your parents. Don't call me because I'm not answering. You'll get my voicemail and I'll answer or I'll respond when I get into the office at 10 a.m., but I'm not going to respond. Why? Because I care about my family just as much as you do. I care about my marriage just as much as you do. I care about making sure I don't burn out. And I'm able to do this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, doing what I love to do. I also communicate, like, you have to be respectful. If there's any way that I start feeling like you're rude or you're like crossing boundaries, I will let you go without a refund. So just so you know, I require kindness. I require that we have fun with each other. I require that I look forward to our meetings, not that I'm like, oh, I got an email from them. Oh, what did they say this time? And so you want to make sure you can identify who those right people are. I call them dream clients, so that you can communicate it right up front and you understand what your boundaries are, so you can communicate that up front as well. And then the other thing was, whenever I was, for a lot of people who are really good at what they do, they have this deep impact-driven mission. They want to just make a difference in people's lives. They want to work with anyone and everyone, and they genuinely want to make a difference in the world, which is amazing. You should make a difference in the world. At the end of your life, the world should be better because you lived. Your family should be positioned better because you were here on this earth. You should leave generational legacies. That's why our company is called the Legacy Tribe, because we're a tribe of people who are building legacies. So generations to come, people who I will never meet this side of life, will still be impacted because I lived. And so I know that's what you probably want to do too. You want to create massive difference in the world. What happens is we think that if we take money from people, and there's a language shift too, is we think what we're doing is we're taking from people. So you can't make a difference if you're taking from people. So instead, I want you to reframe the mindset from I'm taking their money, I don't want to take people's money, to I'm giving of myself. I'm giving my time. I'm giving my energy. I'm giving my effort. I'm giving my expertise in exchange for money that they'll likely make back again. The thing is that you don't get back is time. You don't get that back. but you do make money. Money comes in and money goes out. You have seasons of financial prosperity. Then you have seasons of like, okay, this is a challenge. Maybe you took on a risk. Maybe you hired a new employee. So there's finances are up and down. Time, it's a straight line. You don't get it back. You don't live today again. This is your only today. And so you want to make sure that when you're working with clients that you respect your time and you honor their time as well, and that you're able to move forward with them knowing that the time you spend with them is going to be well worth it. So a couple of reasons why people typically fail, even though you're good at what you do. Number one, just pricing. You're uncomfortable with money. You have a really toxic relationship with money, and what I would encourage you to do there is get comfortable with higher numbers. Just start saying it. It's going to feel silly. Just going to start saying it. The second thing is you just don't have a really strong sales process. One thing that I forgot to mention is I laugh during my sales process. I'm joking. We're having a lot of fun. I'm like if I'm not laughing during the sales process and it's all serious and hustle and grind, then who cares, right? Like, great, you're going to hustle and grind your life away. You're going to burn out 3 months from now. I want to be laughing about it. Laugh about it. Enjoy it. Go in thinking they like me already. They're friends with me. I have nothing to prove. I'm here just to serve and to support. And then third reason is making sure that you slow down the sales process. You don't rush through it. You slow it down. You communicate your boundaries. You communicate the type of clients you work with. And in the sales process, I'll say, let me tell you about the type of clients we work with to see if you would even be a good fit for me. Does this sound like you? Why? Prove it to me. I don't want to make it so easy for someone to buy from me that anybody can buy from me. I want the right people to buy from me. And I know you do too. And then the last thing is pricing insecurity. So many people don't have any idea how to price their stuff. So they're like looking at competitions, they're looking at like what everyone else is doing, and they're like, well, maybe I should price it there, or I'll price it a little less so that when people look at that and then look at mine, they'll buy from me. I want you to shift your mindset here. Instead of trying to be the cheapest, I want you to be the best. I want you to go out thinking, I'm going to be the very best I can be. I'm going to go out and I'm going to master my skill set. I'm going to sharpen that iron. I'm going to go out and be able to truly serve people, because when I'm able to truly serve people, then the money's going to come. Money, income, it's just a reflection of impact. The more impact you can create, the greater income you can expect. And so develop your skill set and make sure that when you price your stuff, we have a whole heck yes methodology on how to price your stuff. I don't have enough time to go through it today. If you message me, I'll share it with you. But what it is you want to make sure that you're pricing your stuff strategically, not based off of a gut feeling. Like, oh, I think people will buy it here. But you want to use data. You want to use market research. You want to make sure that you're pricing it so strategically that it's a heck yes. Absolutely. Of course, I'll buy it from you. This makes so much sense for me. You don't want to discount. You want to add value. And so once you have a really healthy relationship with money, once you're able to slow the process down and communicate who your dream clients are, and once you have really strong pricing security, pricing confidence, literally nothing becomes impossible. I'll leave you with this. Whenever somebody comes to me and says, Shawn, I haven't landed a client this month, I ask them one question. How many people have you talked to? In the last 4 weeks, how many people have you talked to? I want you to answer this yourself. Let us know in the chat. How many people have you talked to? If you haven't talked to anyone, well, it's likely you haven't landed any clients. Most people are like, well, I posted on social. I did a live stream that one day. I created a reel on Instagram. I did a TikTok. Great. That's nothing wrong with that. Create content. Get your name out there. But turn that content into conversations, because when you have a conversation with someone, people are able to recognize way faster if you're the right person for them, and you're able to recognize if they're the right person for you. The more conversations you have, the more likely you're going to land clients. So here's 3 questions to ask yourself daily. Number 1, how many conversations did you have today? If you had 0, you probably landed 0. If you had 5, maybe you landed 1 or 2. How many conversations do you have scheduled for tomorrow? Because that'll determine how much opportunity you have to land a client. So if you have 0, well, guess what your priority today is? Schedule conversations for tomorrow. And then the third question is, how much money did you ask for? Not how much money did you make? Because you cannot control whether someone says yes or no. If you could control whether someone says yes or no, you'd always hear yes. You get all the clients. You can't control their response. You can only control your ask. most of the time you have not because you ask not. So go ask. Ask again. Ask again. Ask again. And what happens is we fear rejection. We fear the no. But the more you ask, the easier it becomes. And so make sure you're asking. How much money did you ask for? We do this challenge within our mastermind. We do something called the money game. And that's where we say, okay, over the next 90 days, how much money do you want to ask for? And the people who have the highest goal and actually reach it, they ask for, 500,000. They ask for $1 million. They ask for 90,000. They're the ones who make the most. When you ask, you'll likely to receive. The beginning of receiving anything is the ask. So you want to make sure you're asking. You ask yourself these 3 questions, I guarantee you're going to be able to track your success. And you do that, you implement that over the next 90 days, I guarantee you'll make more money than you've ever made before. So I hope that was helpful. I know we went through a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Doug, I'm curious from you, what was your biggest insight or any questions that came up?
Wow. It was a really good training, and it kind of resonated with me because I come from that background. When I started my agency, charging way too little. And it was like burning both ends of the candle in fulfillment for a little bit of money. You're trading your time for hours. And one thing that I thought about is you can't scale on low prices. You're going to be a worker. You're never going to get to a CEO position when you're charging too little money. So that's what really resonated with me.
And what's really true about that is a lot of people think, well, I need to get like I need to sell my stuff low, but you want like a 6-figure business, 7-figure business. Let's say you're selling something for $100, right? Let's say it's $1,000. You sell something for $1,000, and if it's a one-time purchase, so it's like a project-based thing, or it's a program that they only buy for like $1,000 and then they're done. What happens is you need like 1,000 people to buy from you in order for you to get to $1 million. That's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. When you change that number to, well, how could I sell a $10,000 a month offer? Well, you only need one client at $10,000 a month to hit 6 figures. You only need one client at $8,000 a month to hit 6 figures. When you're able to figure out how to sell at that level, selling $500 things, $100 things, $1,000 things becomes so easy. It's like breathing because you mastered the high number. Mm-hmm. What most people try to do is, well, I'll start low and I'll slowly raise my price. What happens though is you're setting yourself up for an uphill battle every single time you raise your price, because you'll get comfortable at 100, then it's a battle to get to 200. Then you get comfortable to 200, it's a battle to get to 400. Instead, start high. Let me get comfortable with 10,000, because if I can conquer that, everything else below is going to be so much easier.
Yeah, I wish I had started high. Because I would have saved a lot of time growing my business to what it is today. So, awesome training. Shawn, I would love to have you back sometime and let everyone know how to reach out to you if any of this resonated with them.
Yeah, so you can reach out to me. You can go to clientschallenge.com. That's where I'm most active, and you'll be able to get your questions answered. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat here, and I'll make sure to kind of keep an eye on this chat so that I can come back and answer those questions for you too. You can simply click on my name as well and send me a message on Messenger. However you want to get a hold of me, I'm open to supporting you. I love what you're doing, Doug. I think this is a great community. Keep up the great work, and everybody here, you're in good hands with Doug. So keep showing up and keep making a difference.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Bye.